Okay, so here's our pre-cut mesh. So you see there's a little string. I'm just pulling it off. But other than that, it's a pretty much perfect square. Okay? And it's pretty flat. Like, look at the green, how flat it is. I love it. But anyways, what you're going to do for the petal I'm going to show you for this sunflower. Now, any flower can be made like this, okay? Whether it be, you could even buy a pink rose kit with the pre-cut mesh and make a pink flower and use like a little 6-inch or 8-inch sign in the center if you can't cut your own mesh. Just wanted to throw that out there because we do have different colored rose kits, and we have red, yellow, white, and pink. You may want pre-cut mesh to make a pink flower, so you can use the rose kit and your own center. Okay? But let's do this yellow one. So you're going to put your piece of 10.5 by 10.5 inch mesh right in front of you. We're going to turn it into a diamond shape. Okay? What I am going to get ready is a couple little rubber bands in front of me. Okay, we're going to put this into a diamond shape. I'm going to take the top of the diamond and bring it to the bottom. And it's pretty much a perfect square, so everything will line up, okay? So you're going to put this into like a triangle shape now. Then you're going to take the right side of this corner and we're going to bring this right side straight down the middle. So this top edge here is going to go straight down the middle of our mesh, okay? So take your right corner, bring it, fold it to the middle, and this edge right here will run along the edge here. So that is straight down the middle and my edge is lined up, okay? You can put a clip now on this, and then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to take this corner and bring it straight down the middle as well. Okay, you want to make sure there's a point up at the top. So that is the top of my petal right here, and then the edges on the sides, that's the bottom part. Okay, that is what your petal is going to look like. It looks like a kite almost, right? But you want to make sure that the top is pointy. I'm going to swing this around to the left. So this is the top of my petal. How about I put the clip at the top? There we go. So you know that that's the top of the petal. I'm going to take one of my rubber bands and I am going to, let me see, I'm going to put it on, to bring the bottom to the center and the top to the center at about 2 inches. So you're leaving about a 2-inch tail. Okay, so if you want to measure it, that's the 20, and I'm pinching at the 18. So the bottom of the tail is at the 20. I'm pinching at the 18. Oh boy, I need to get my nails done. And then I'm going to wrap a rubber band right around where I pinched. Okay, this is our petal, all ready to go. Both sides are exactly the same. This is a perfect petal for any flower that you don't want, that you can't wood burn. Like if you can't wood burn your mesh, this is the perfect petal to use. Very simple to make. And then you can just toss it into your laundry basket. So that's what I do. I did a little video of myself prepping all these petals upstairs in my lap while I was watching The Office. So I just prep petals and toss them in the laundry basket. You can put it into a box, you can toss them into a shopping bag, whatever. I just wanted to show you, you can pre-make your petals while just sitting watching TV. You also can complete the whole wreath. If you get the pre-cut mesh, you complete the whole thing from the comfort of your recliner, because the only thing you really need to sit and do is cut your mesh. If your mesh is already pre-cut, you can fold petals right in your lap using like a cookie sheet or one of the little cutting mats we sell on our website. They're little pink cutting mats. That's what I use. And fold your petals, you know, put your little rubber bands in them and then toss them into a basket. Once you have your petals made, and I will be making a few more petals, you're going to take your large board and your 100 pack of zip ties, and we're going to preload our board. Okay? For this, like I said, you get 42 petals or 42 pieces of yellow mesh and 9 pieces of green. We give you 2 extra pieces of yellow and 1 extra piece of green, just in case a couple of the mesh is messed up or you've messed up making the petal, you have some extra to use, okay? For this sunflower, or I'm just gonna call it a flower because it doesn't matter what color you use, it's gonna look beautiful, okay? We are only gonna be using row 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're not gonna be using row 1 for this one, and I'll show you in a minute why. But we need to preload our board, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one of your zip ties. I'm gonna start right where the number 2 is, okay? And you're gonna go down that first hole and back up. And the number 2 is right in the middle there. When you go down and up with your zip tie, you want to make sure that the flat part of your zip tie is facing in between, so facing the middle of the 2 holes. This is real, you need to do it like that because you need the tail of the zip tie to go into the flat part, okay? And you'll hear a zipping sound like that and it'll lock, okay? If you try and, if you by chance go backwards, not into the flat part of the zip tie, you will not hear the zipping sound, okay? And it's not going to lock. You just need to flip it over and then reposition your zip tie. Okay? So you are going to preload all the sets of holes on row 2. There's 16 of them. Okay? So you're going to put 16 zip ties on row 2. Now for this one, for row 3, instead of the normal holes, which the normal holes are the same distance as we just did on row 2, on row 3 you'll see the normal holes. The number 3 is in the middle. For this project, or for this particular design that I'm doing, we're not going to use the normal holes. We're going to use the larger gapped holes. So where the number 3 is, we're going to take our zip tie, go down that hole where the number 3 is, and back up the hole to the left. There's a single hole there, and do it up until you hear the zip, okay? And then we're going to go down that hole that we just went through and back up. These are kind of what's called shared holes. So what I'm doing with these shared holes is I'm going to have, instead of 8 petals, there's 8 normal holes on row 3. Instead of 8 petals, I want 16 petals, and I want them evenly around row 3. To do that, you're going to use our shared holes and not preload the normal holes, okay? So as I continue around, I'm going to skip these 2, right? These are our normal holes. I'm going to go down this one, back up this one. And then again, down that one. There's a zip tie already in it, but that's okay. That's why it's called a shared hole. And back up this one. So when you go and preload row 3, you will have 16 zip ties. And it'll look like stitching kind of on the back that's skipped a space. Okay, so you're going to finish preloading row 3. Like I said, you'll have 16 zip ties on row 3, 16 on row 2, and then row 4, we're going to do the normal holes. So down and up. And there's 8 sets of normal holes. So you're going to just do those 8. Okay. And again, you can do this right in your lap while you're watching TV. And then row 5, we are going to be using both the normal holes and the shared holes, okay? But I'm only going to preload for right now. I'm only going to preload the holes that are a little farther apart, meaning like the spacing. So there's 1. I'm skipping the normal holes. We're going to come back to those. 2. Skipping the normal. 3. Skipping the normal. And 4. Okay, so you'll have, to start, you'll have 16 on row 2, 16 on row 3, 8 on row 4, and 4 on row 5. And that's to get us started. Okay, once your board is loaded, it's going to look something like this. I got to finish off these ones. So I'm going to go down and back up. So that's row 2 all finished. Row 3, we're going to do the larger gaps from here to here. Here to here. Ignore the Sharpie marker on the board. That's just me playing around with different ideas. I write on the boards all the time. And now row 4, normal holes. And row 5 is the holes that are a little bit further apart. We will be doing 8 pieces on row 5, but for teaching purposes, it's easier for me to show you 4 at a time on row 5. Okay, so my board is ready to go. I did most of it upstairs on my lap, but there is the back. So you'll see it looks like stitching, right? Nice and neat. It's going to stay nice and neat like this. So we got 16, 16, but they're like double, except for this one. I always check the back when I'm preloading because you can see, like if I missed a set of holes, you'll be able to see when you flip it over on the from the back. You'll be able to see that there's spots missing. So I think we're good. We're ready to go. All right, we're going to make our petal. I'll show you again. Now you can do your petals if you don't want to if you don't want to rubber band them and you want to make your flower as you're going. I'm going to show you. You're going to take your 10.5 by 10.5 piece, turn it into a diamond shape, take the top, bring it down to the bottom corner here, right? We're going to take the right corner. This edge at the top is going straight down the middle of our piece of mesh with that edge lined up with the edge that's on the table. Okay, and if you're just a beginner, use your clips. That's what they're in there for. So you can clip that and you can let it go. Then we're going to flip it over. Okay, and we're going to take the corner again and do the exact same thing. It's going to go straight down but it's going to overlap just a little bit. You can see the line going down the middle there. You're going to overlap it just a little bit to give it that point. Okay, we want this point. If you just bring it to the middle and not overlap it, you got more of a square point. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's more of a square at the top. Either one is really, really pretty, but for this tutorial, I want you guys to do the petal with the corner being pointy, okay? It'll look more like a sunflower. All right, so you can, again, then clip the whole thing and let it go. I'm going to put a clip at the top corner so you guys know that is the top of the petal. I'm going to flip it so the top of the petal is going towards my left because I am right-handed. You're going to take one of, oh no, we're going to put it right in the board. You're then going to, at the bottom of your petal, you're going to scrunch or pinch into the center about 2 inches from the bottom corner. Okay, let me see, that's 20. So pinch from the bottom, pinch the top to the middle, just like that. And then you can, let me see, we'll start right where the number 2 is. Where you keep holding your petal, and you're gonna slide that tail into the zip tie till the zip tie hits your fingers where you pinched, okay? And then you're gonna do the zip tie up. And then you can take this off, okay? That's for the yellow. The green, I'm gonna clip this off just for a sec because I wanna show you. I'm gonna put my green ones on first. I'll put a new zip tie in there. So the green, I'm going to do exactly the same as the yellow. Normally we use the green leaves on row 1. For this design, because it's more for beginners, we're gonna use 8 pieces of green on row 2 and 8 pieces of yellow on row 2. So you're going to make your green leaves exactly the same as you did your yellow. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So again, we're using our pre-cut mesh. I'm turning my 10.5-inch piece into a diamond, top corner to the bottom corner, fold it down just like that. We're going to take the right corner, bring it straight down the middle, lining up the edge here. Again, you can use your clip to hold it. Flip it over. Bring this corner in so that this top is going down the center, and we're overlapping just a bit. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can see this line through the back of the mesh. We're going to bring it straight down and a little overlapped so we can make it pointy. Okay. Now take the clip off. I'm going to put the clip at the point. All right, 2 inches. You're going to scrunch in. And we're going to put our green leaves on first. So the green ones are going to look more towards the back than the yellow. So I'm going to put it in where the number 2 is. Okay, and that's how you can do it if you just want to do your petals and put them in as you make them. So you don't have to pre-make. If you don't want, you do not have to pre-make petals. Okay, again, top corner to the bottom corner, right, going straight down our piece of mesh with the edge lined up. Clip it, flip it over. You're going to take this one, bring it straight down. All right, I'll put the clip at the top of the mesh so you know where the corner is, and then 2 inches in, I'm going to pinch. I'm going to skip where I put the green. We're going to skip one and put the green in the next one. This is horizontal wide stripe mesh. It's got very similar characteristics to poly burlap, so it does what you want it to do. It's mostly all plastic, so it does really well outdoors. And then once you get a little faster and get the hang of making your petals, you probably won't need to use your clips anymore. All right. So we are going to put 8 of these green petals into row 2. Now I do have some of them pre-made, so we don't have to sit and watch me. So we're skipping every other one. All right, and they're going to be the green leaves. Now, if you order our sunflower kit, you do not have to do it like this. This is like a basic kind of beginner version and a good way to teach the sunflower if you're having a workshop. Okay, because you don't need any scissors, you don't need anything except for what's in the kit. Okay, all our green is on. I'm going to go around and I'm going to snip off the zip tie tails, and all you have to do is go straight down with your wire or your zip tie clipper, go straight down and squeeze. And cut off those zip tie tails. Alrighty, so there's our green leaves. Now we're going to go back in, and we're going to add yellow. So the yellow is going to kind of sit on top of the green. And that's why I put the green ones on first. So if you have pre-made your petals, you're just going to do the zip tie right where your rubber band is. Yeah, this is a really good, like, kind of all-purpose petal. You don't have to worry about fray. It's easy to fold. And it will look like a sunflower when we're done. All right, that was quick, right? So now we're going to go and snip off the zip tie tails of those 8 yellow that we just put on. And now we're going on to row 3. So row 3 has, oh, why do I keep forgetting one? Row 3 also has 16 zip ties, but they're all going to be yellow. Okay, so once we get everything on, these little green leaves are just going to be peeking through our sunflower. All right. And it doesn't matter where you start. Now you can trim up the tails if you want, but you don't need to. It just makes a mess. Now the zip ties that we are using on row 3, they are a little farther apart than the normal ones. Just make sure your tail is pretty much in the center. You're just going to go around and slip in the yellow, 16 yellow on row 3. Very easy. Yeah, I like this petal too. It's called the pinwheel petal. Michelle from Monkey's Creations came up with it. She does hers a little more square at the tip. I like mine a little more pointy, obviously. But it's nice because it gives you the kind of like a vein going down the middle. Kind of looks like, a flower petal. I was going to do this tonight, but I'm babysitting tonight, so once Eliana comes over, everything in my life stops. Because I love her. I love playing with her. And if you don't know, Eliana is my granddaughter. She's almost, she's 3.5 months now. So she is giggling and talking a little, like babbling, and she can see you, so she'll smile. Oh, so much fun. Is it looking like a sunflower? Awesome. That's what we want, and it's very easy. Like I said, this is pretty much a good go-to if you're teaching a sunflower class, guys, especially if you get the pre-cut kits. Now, both kits are the same price. You get less mesh with the pre-cut. Obviously, you get less mesh, but it's already cut for you. So the price kind of evens itself out because we have to pay somebody to run the machines and everything to cut the mesh. And then on the full rolls, you get more mesh in your kit. All right, last one on this row is going to be, looks like a big sun, big ray of sunshine. So pretty. Alrighty, now we're going to go around and we're going to cut off our zip tie tails. Again, just go around, straight down, snip it off. If you don't have the kit and you're just doing this, you can use scissors. Just use older scissors if you have them, because you don't want to dull your scissors. Alrighty, now we're on row 4. There's only 8. You only need 8 of them. Again, just doesn't matter really where you start. And I'm just kind of zip tying them. I measured the 2 inches, so each of my petals are always the same length. So I just go by where I rubber band it. That will be 2 inches. So I don't have to measure. I don't have to put each petal side by side to make sure they're the right length, because I know that just by my rubber bands here. And you can get these DIY kits at uniqueinthecreek.com. I will do a couple petals again for you guys to just recap. So I'm just going around and inserting them into our zip ties. That's why it's easier to have your board preloaded, because then once you start making your petals, you just slip them in. And the holes are there to make sure everything is the perfect distance between each other. Okay, there's the 8. We're going to clip those off. Alrighty, and we're on our last row, which is row 5. Like I said, at the beginning, I just preloaded the bigger spaces. We're going to put those 4 in, and then I'll come back and preload the others because we're going to put 8 in here. Now, I do want to, so you may need scissors. I'm going to just cut these down, just a little tip of the petal off, just so I'm not totally covering the 2 holes that are in the center of the board. So there is 2 holes right in the very center. That's where our pipe cleaner is going to go down. If you cover the holes, it's not a big deal. You just will shuffle the mesh around and then you can get the pipe cleaners down there. But if you can, just trimming that little bit of tail off the end does help a lot with the, so there's not so much mesh in the middle. Isn't this a great looking sunflower? Like, it's going to be fabulous. And we're not wood burning and we're not having to worry about frays. That's what I love about this one. And especially if you get the pre-cut kit, you literally just open the bag and start. And I keep dropping my petals. Okay. All right, we got those 4 in. Let's cut them. And you can see that the green, they're just kind of peeking out. Isn't that perfect? Like, perfect. All right, let's load up the last 4. And we're ready to put our center in. So where I'm going with these last 4 are right here to here, right here to here, here to here, and here to here. And why I do it like that is because then they layer. These 4 will layer on top of those 4 that we just put in. It just gives it a nice, better look aesthetically. So if you're not using pre-cut mesh and you're cutting your own, you want to cut it into a perfect square. So measure your roll of mesh first, okay? So, because not all mesh is the same. It says on here that it's 10 inches, but if you put it on your cutting mat and measure it, it's actually 10.5 inches. So you can cut it 10 inches because this petal is very forgiving, okay? If you have a 10.5 by 10 inch piece, because the way we're folding it, you won't be able to tell. But I always tell people to measure their roll before you start cutting. Just in case there is some petals where you do need a perfect square. So you don't want to cut your whole roll and realize, oh my gosh, the roll was actually 10.5. I don't have a square. That's when you can use this petal because it's forgiving. So now we're just going to go in and put the last 4 of these in. So you can even make, you know, a daisy like this if you want. Any color flower will look good like this with this petal. So if you want a pink flower and you've seen a really cute, you know, 8-inch sign or 6-inch sign, or even we do sell on our website, we do sell different colored faux centers and stuff. You could buy the rose kit because the rose kit does come with pre-cut pink, hot pink, and green, pre-cut red and green, pre-cut white and green, and pre-cut, again, yellow and green. It comes with the large board, your zip ties and everything. The only thing the rose kit won't have in it is your center and your pipe cleaner and cable mount. So you can do a pink flower. It doesn't have to be a rose. You can do the pink one with that pre-cut mesh. All right, look how we got so far. Isn't that bright? And oh my God, it's so bright and cheery. And it is 25 inches in diameter, which is literally the perfect size for a flower wreath for a door. Okay, let's just put that to the side because now we're finished making the actual wreath. Now we're just going to put together our center and put it on the board. We'll put a hanger on it and we'll be done. So you'll have lots of extra clear rubber bands for another project. You'll have lots of zip ties left over, and you will have lots of mesh, well, not lots, but some mesh left over from both kits. Okay, so yes, you can use this for pretty much any kind of mesh. This petal, like I said, it is one of the most forgiving petals, and you don't even have to pay attention to which side because both sides are exactly the same. So you really don't have to pay too much attention to this petal, and that's why I keep reiterating this is a really good petal for workshops. Okay, so you're going to take your realistic looking sunflower center, flip it over, and you can see that it is made with styrofoam. What you're going to do is, now I think the kitting department has put the pipe cleaner already through, but there are little slots on the back of the cable mount. You're just going to slide your pipe cleaner through 2 of the slots, and we're going to even up the pipe cleaner. All right, then you're going to take this yellow piece of paper off. Your cable mount, and in the center of the flower center is, you'll see a little round circle on it. That's the center of the flower, or the center of this flower center. So what you're going to do is take your cable mount, put it right over top of that little circle, and press down really well. Okay? And then what we're going to do is the 2 ends of this pipe cleaner here is going to go in the 2 holes that I indicated while I was making this, in this very, very center. So you can't even screw up the center. So you're going to take one side of your pipe cleaner and put it down 1 hole. The other side, and this is why I said, like, if you can keep your center a little bit clean, you can move around the mesh and find the second hole. All right, there we go. So both pipe cleaners are through. I'm going to pull from the back like that. Once you know it's in place and you feel the resistance, you're going to give it a few twists on the back here. Okay, voila. We're going to trim up. We don't this pipe cleaner, so take your wire cutters. You're going to put the end of your pipe cleaner back down the hole. So we're going to keep this nice and neat. This is the back of your wreath, my friend. Isn't that great? So there's no mess. All your customer sees are the zip ties. You can sign your wreath. You can put a sticker of your store of where people can purchase it, especially if you're selling on at a craft show, or you can tape your business card. Okay. Now we're going to put a hanger on with one of our zip ties. There's the Unique in the Creek logo, straight up. right here, you're going to take a zip tie on row 1, go down 1 hole and push it back up through the other hole. Zip it up a couple zips and then cut that tail off. That will lock your hanger. Everything is outdoor proof, okay? Even the flower center. Now, the mesh and everything will fade. Everything will fade in the sun. You can, if you want to prevent a little bit of fading, you can spray your wreath with this Scotch Guard water and sun shield. If you do a one coat, not a thick coat, but just one coat on your sunflower, let it dry and then spray another coat on it, it will help prevent fading. I'm not going to say it's going to completely eliminate it, but if you put this on a door that has direct sunlight, it'll give you a few months of direct sunlight before it starts fading. Okay, and that's called, I just get mine on Amazon. It's Scotch Guard by 3M, water and sun shield with protector. It's the stuff you use on outdoor furniture. Okay, and now we just have to put our ladybug on. The centers are, I believe these centers, let's measure, 6.25 inches. 6.25 inches. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do, it's much easier to spray your petal, your wreath, with it being totally made. You will have, you can do it if you want to spray each petal individually. That's a little overkill. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. So what I'm going to do is cut some of this wire off of my ladybug. And because this is styrofoam, all you have to do is push. You can put your ladybug wherever you want. You can put it, you know, kind of sitting in the yellow part here, sitting on the brown. You're just going to poke. It's probably a little too long. There we go. How easy was that? Now you can tell, if you want, you can put a little bit of hot glue, lift your little ladybug up. You can put a little dot of hot glue and push it down, but it's going to stay because I put a good 2 inches of the wire into the styrofoam, so it's going to stay. And there you go, my friends. That is our very cute sunflower made with the pre-cut mesh. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that my outer yellow are in between the 2 green. So we want to make sure that, you know, you did all this work. You want to make sure that it's pretty, right? Aesthetically pretty. And then in between the yellow, you should have a, in between the 2 yellow on row 2, on row 3, you should have a yellow petal that will match up with the green. And it goes in between these 2. So you just might want to spin it around and move your petal so that you have a petal in between. It just looks nicer, that's all. And everything's all lined up. There we go. So I'm just shifting these around. Okay, and then the other ones, they are fine where they are. And there we go. a really easy sunflower on the Unique in the Creek large board. Again, the sunflower measures about 25 inches. Isn't it pretty? And it's very easy to do, my friends, especially, you know, if you're getting your mesh the pre-cut mesh. And if you want to add a little more 3D to it, all you have to do is kind of tilt up your petals a bit. So just grab the corner and you just kind of bring them upwards, and then your sunflower isn't going to be super flat or anything. And these do fit between two doors. They absolutely fit between two doors. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you guys. I know the sunflower kit's been out since the beginning of January. I just haven't had a chance to do it. Now, if you don't like the way this one's done, we must have like 20 gazillion other sunflower ways you can make sunflower on our YouTube channel underneath the large boards. Okay, but if you're just a beginner, try it this way first. It literally is kind of foolproof. As long as you pay attention to the tips of them to make sure you have a pointy petal, that's really all you need to do, is make sure they're pointy. All right, friends, thanks for watching.